Hello everybody, my name is Michael with RetroVive Repairs, and today we are going to be taking a look at a mod for the Game Boy Advance that I have been excited for a very long time. So when it comes to powering your Game Boy Advance, you usually have one of two options. One, you can keep it powered on batteries, as it originally was in the 90s, or you can opt for a lithium-ion battery mod, like what is in this one right here. This is a funny playing battery mod. It is a 3.7 volt battery at 1800 milliamps, and basically it just slots right into the battery contacts, charges with USB-C, and it's a great little product. I like it a lot. However, I do have one major problem with these kinds of battery mods, and the problem is right here, the cell. So my biggest concern with lithium-ion batteries is that they have a life of anywhere from 3 to 8 years, give or take, depending on the quality of the battery, before they start really going downhill. I mean, you can have some older lithium batteries that still work, but in reality, you're going to have about 3 to 7 years, 3 to 8 years with these batteries. And eventually, this battery is not going to work anymore. And the difficulty in finding replacement cells for these that are going to fit, have the right connector, all the things that you need for this board, it may be difficult 7 years from now. And that's one thing that usually deters me from buying these. They are not bad products, but whenever I buy a mod for my console, I try and look at the longevity of the entire thing, and I see this as a potential issue in the future when it swells, stops working, and now I have to go out and try and find a new battery for it, and potentially, rewire a new battery, or, it'll just be a whole hassle. So that is my biggest issue with these kinds of battery mods. But luckily, something new has entered the market that I am very excited for. So usually when you power a Game Boy Advance off of AA batteries, you have two options. You can use 1.5 volt alkaline batteries, like these Energizer Maxes here. These are still very much sold in Walmart, and they have been sold since, God, I don't even know, the 50s? These have been sold for a very long time and are not going anywhere. Or you can power them with these NiMH rechargeable batteries, which stands for nickel metal hydride. I'm probably saying that wrong. But nickel metal hydride batteries, NiMH, these are 2300 milliamp hour batteries. And the benefit to these is that they are rechargeable. So that way you don't have to throw them out like these ones when they are depleted. So you can just put these in the console and power it up, and it'll work great, just like the other ones. But the problem is that you have to take them out of the console to charge them, and really that's not that big of a deal. But something else has entered the market, like I've said, that I am very excited for, and we're going to be taking a look at today. This is the Game Boy Advance CleanJuice AA, or AA. It is a rechargeable nickel metal hydride AA power for your Game Boy Advance. It's a drop-in solution, no cut, and it's a completely clean installation. This is sold by Luke and the team over at RetroSix, and I am very excited to be getting my hands on it to take a look at it. So it comes in the classic RetroSix packaging that I've come to expect. Oh, and it even comes with batteries and a spudger. I'm assuming there's a second battery in here. Here it is. And very interesting. So this is it's almost like a flexible board. That's very interesting. It's like a ribbon cable. So let me have a second to take a look at this, and then I will come back and talk about it. So here is the entire kit laid out. It comes with a transparent USB-C battery cover for your Game Boy if you don't have one already. However, most RetroSix kits do come with a USB-C variant of the battery cover, so I will be using that one in my install because it matches my console. Here is the CleanJuice AA itself. This is the heart of the mod. It is what charges the console. It's very, very thin, which is very interesting. I understand they had to keep it that way, so that way it could fit in there with the batteries. But I just wanted to marvel for a second at how thin it is. So we have that. I will go over some more features in a little bit. We have a plastic spudger, which I will be showing you what that is used for in the full install, as well as two 2500 milliamp hour RetroSix cells. I have been told that this is the maximum amount that a standard AA can handle at the current time. So, and it is bigger than these ones that I bought off the shelf several years ago. This one is 2300 milliamps, and this one is 1300 milliamps. So both of these are the maximum amount that you can get out of a AA at the current time. So it should last, I've heard it should last around 7 to 8 hours on a modded console like mine. However, I'm not sure if it'll be a little bit less because this does have LEDs in it. So probably 5 to 6 hours. And on fully unmodded stock consoles, this can last actually up to 24 hours, which is very impressive. One thing I do want to talk about is just how cross-compatible this entire system is. So you do not have to buy these batteries. When you get this kit, you can use any off-the-shelf batteries that you have installed. However, it is important to note that they have to be rechargeable AAs. They cannot be just regular alkaline batteries. How these two different types of batteries work in chemical composition is completely different, and you cannot use non-rechargeable batteries in either this kit or in these wall chargers. If you do, you can end up ruining the batteries, ruining the charger, or even starting a fire. So make sure that when you are using batteries with this kit or with a wall charger, that you are using rechargeable batteries in a rechargeable battery charger. We're going to put these to the side now. And like I said, these batteries will fit perfectly and will charge in standard wall chargers, and off-the-shelf batteries will charge perfectly in the CleanJuice. So everything is very cross-compatible, and I really appreciate that, not making anything proprietary, and which is why I love this kit already so much as opposed to the LiPo or lithium ion options that are out there. I am already in love with this kit without even using it. So we are going to go ahead and go over a few features of this entire system. The first thing we have is a drop-in no-cut install. So you do not have to cut the shell. You can have a stock shell, you can have a modded shell, an aftermarket shell like this one, or you can have any kind of shell you want. This will work with pretty much anything. Like I said previously, it's usable with off-the-shelf batteries or the RetroSix batteries. This entire circuit has over and under voltage and current protection, as well as thermal overload protection as well, which is very nice. It charges at 480 milliamps, and it charges two of these batteries in about 3 to 4 hours. It also has a cutoff after 6 hours. It includes a low battery LED, which I can see right here, and which is something I'm very excited about. I don't have a phone to show you, but it can charge, reverse charge from your cell phone. So if you want to charge your Game Boy from your cell phone, you absolutely can. It's also chargeable with C-to-C chargers or A-to-C chargers. With all of these features out of the way, it's hard to see why you wouldn't want to go with this option, honestly. Some of these USB-C mods are only compatible with A-to-C or C-to-C, which is a little frustrating, and it is very comforting to know that this is pretty much universal. You just chuck some batteries in and plug it in and it works. So I have talked about this enough. I am going to go ahead and show the install now. So moving on to the install, unless you want to avoid struggling for probably a good 15 minutes like I did, so the first thing you're going to want to do is take your batteries and insert them normally just with this little board in between the terminals and the batteries. Just go ahead and insert them as you normally would, making sure that both of these have contact with the batteries. Then bend these two terminals and flip everything over and start inserting it into the slot. You'll want to push this battery back with the spudger and push this one down into place, and it slots in there pretty easy. And that's it, the mod's installed. Now, the part that I had the most trouble with was this USB-C battery cover. If you don't do it in a specific way, you can end up struggling for a little bit like I did. So the best way I found to do this is to basically just tilt this USB-C cover up a little bit, and before you slot the battery cover into place, push the USB-C port through the hole, and then you can just slot it down like normal. It's a pretty straightforward install if you do it just like that. If you don't do it just like that, you might have a little bit of an issue. But now that it's installed, we can see how it works. So you plug it in, and we have a green charging LED. However, I actually think that may mean it is fully charged rather than charging, because these batteries were fully charged when I put them in. So we know that it does work with standard batteries, and that is interesting. Give me a minute. I don't know why this power LED on this is blue. So that's interesting. Nothing to do with the mod, everything to do with the motherboard I'm using. This is an aftermarket motherboard. You may recognize this console from the last video that I did, where I rebuilt an entire console that was in a flood. So the motherboard that I'm using can recognize rechargeable batteries, and it is recognizing the CleanJuice AA as a rechargeable battery system, which is interesting. So it will cycle from this deep blue to a cyan to eventually a red when the batteries are depleted. Very, very interesting. And I didn't even know the board had this feature. Not a video about this board. I thought I'd include that for anyone who happens to be doing the exact same thing that I'm doing and was surprised by it like I was. So now that we know that it works with regular off-the-shelf batteries, we're going to go ahead and install the RetroSix batteries. Removing it the same way, pushing on this battery and pulling the entire assembly up. It comes right out, and then remove the batteries, and the entire thing comes right out. Going to go ahead and straighten these tabs out again. Try not to bend the tabs too much on this, otherwise you could end up breaking them, which would not be very fortunate. Installing it the exact same way as before, we're going to go ahead and install the batteries first with these tabs in between the main terminals. Perfect. And then we bend these down and slot them right into place with pushing this battery terminal back, and this one slides right over. Realize I just said push the battery terminal back. You're going to want to push the battery into the battery terminal here. And it slots right in. Make sure you slot the USB-C port over the cover first, and then push the cover down. And it is a perfect fit. Plug it in to make sure it works. And we have a orange and green LED. Very good to see. I am going to go ahead and play some games on it now, just to have some fun with this and verify everything works as expected. All right, so it works great. Honestly, I am very happy with how this turned out. I couldn't be happier, honestly. It allows me to recharge my Game Boy with USB-C just inside the console. I don't have to take them out, slap them in one of these, and then put them back in. It's just kind of annoying, you know, if you have a Game Boy and it's something that bothers you, this definitely will solve the issue. And it does solve the issue, like I mentioned earlier, of having custom lithium ion or LiPo cells that will degrade and eventually be hard to source replacements for, because if these die, you just go to the store and buy another one. I mean, these aren't going anywhere. This has been a standard for a very, very long time, and they are not going anywhere. So, and I'm sure even if they start getting phased out by other companies, I am sure you'll still be able to buy these on Amazon or Amazon's replacement in, what, 50 years? Because it was such a large standard for such a long time, if we're talking about the future. I mean, stuff still uses these, but eventually if we move away to a different standard, these will still be widely available. With that said, I am going to call that the end of this video. I would like to thank you all for watching, and if you would like to pick up one of these for yourself, I will be including a link in the description below. If you would like to send in your own console for modification or repair, you can head to retroviverepair.com to send in an order, or you can even comment on this video if you would like. Please make sure to also subscribe to the channel if you have a moment, because it really helps me out as well. I would like to thank you once again all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.